Hello and welcome back to the another episode of the Hindu News Analysis. Well, it is 21st June today, and in this video we are going to discuss some important articles which are relevant for your preparation. Now, without any delay, let's start our discussion. As here on the screen you can see, the article is basically talking about the about a bill which was passed in the UK, in the UK Parliament, we can say, in the House of Commons. Like we have House of Commons, like we have Lok Sabha in India. A bill was passed in the House of Commons, which is actually talking about the terminally ill people to end their lives, to allow terminally ill people to end their lives. So it is about this bill. So here, what is the gist of the bill? Let me tell you that if a person is suffering from some serious disease and the doctors predict that he might die within 6 months or 3 months or something like that, then he will be given the authority to decide the date on which he will die, and the way in which he will die. So this bill, it has been passed in the House of Commons in UK. Now there is a discussion over bill now. When this was introduced in the house, there was huge support for the bill. If we will see what was the support of the bill, we can find out that approximately more than half of the members of the house were in support of that. But after some time, once the provisions were introduced, it was highly followed by the people. But after some time, the provisions were little bit changed. What were those changed provisions? Let's have a look at that too, which can be important for you. The first one, earlier in the bill, it was established that it is the court who will decide whether to allow person to die, to have a dignity in death, and to die with dignity. It was the court who will decide. Now it was changed that it will allow they will set up a panel which will contain the doctors, the psychiatric department, the social workers, and they will decide whether to allow him to die or not. So this is one of the change which was made. Because of it has lost little support, but still 314 members, MPs, are supporting it, and it got passed by the house. And second thing, which is one of the criticism to this bill, is that this bill, it can force these people. Because of this bill, these people who are suffering from such diseases can be forced by the pressure from the family to go for this act. Even though they don't want to go, even though they don't want to die like this, the family pressure, the financial burden which the family has over this patient, this will force the patients to go for that. So because of these two, two arguments, we can say it has lost a little support. But still, 314 MPs had supported it, and this bill had it got passed in the House of Commons, or we can say, if it was in India, in the Lok Sabha. Now the issue is, what is the India's stand with respect to such bills? It was the update. This news article, it in itself was an update. We cannot, we don't need to know much about it with respect to UK. Just remember that a bill was passed where a death with the dignity has been allowed. Where assisted death is allowed, where an assisted death is allowed. So what is this assisted death? Is it same as euthanasia, which we have in India? And what is this euthanasia? What is this? So what does Indian constitution or Indian laws say about it? So let's have a little bit broader discussion over it, so that you will get the idea about it. The story, if you would had watched my videos with respect to the static portion which we conduct in the evening session, we recently covered Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. In Article 21, we discussed that it is the most evolved article of the whole fundamental rights. And we also discussed that, many things has been inferred by the judiciary. The judiciary has used judicial creativity in it. So under this under this article 21 there was a scene that if what is this life, is life just is life just a physical physical way of breathing, is it just the physical act of breathing, or it is something different, or it has a wider meaning to it. So it was established by the various judicial judgments that it is not just a physical action of breathing, physical act of breathing, but it has the dignity associated with it. You want to have a clean environment, your health can get affected if there is not clean environment, then your fundamental right, which is to have a clean environment, is violated. So similarly various different rights had been established under it. So similarly there was a question about, what if we have a right to live with the dignity, we have the right to live, similarly there should be a right to die, it should also be the fundamental right. Then the case went to the Supreme Court. Earlier it was agreed that right to life is equal to right to death, it is right to die is also a fundamental right. But further in the newer judgments it was then said by the Supreme Court that even though it is a fundamental right to die with dignity, but still it cannot be equated with life, right to life. There is a difference between it, there is more restrictions to it. So let's discuss a case with a nurse. There was a nurse, namely, now we are coming to our topic, which is the euthanasia, and I will tell you how it is different from the assisted death. So there was a case of a nurse, Aruna Shobhagya was her name. Her name was Aruna Schoenberg, and she was brutally attacked by a male male co-worker, or we can say co-employee in the hospital, and she went into the permanent vegetative state. It is in this state, you are called brain dead, and there is no scope of the recovery for the patient. If you are in a coma, then the scope of the recovery is there, you can wake up, you can start your life again. But if you are in a permanent vegetative state, there is least hope of that the patient will recover. So when this patient Aruna Schoenberg, she fell the victim of this permanent vegetative state, her friend, namely we can say her friend was namely Pinky, she approached Supreme Court and said, sir, don't we have the right to life? Supreme Court said, yes, we have Article 21. Under this Article 21, is it doesn't it talk, is it just about the act of breathing, or it is about living with the dignity? The Supreme Court said it is living with the dignity. Then this Pinky told Supreme Court, what about this patient? She is in the permanent vegetative state, she is not even able to change her clothes, she is not even able to eat by herself, she does not know what is happening to her body, so please let her die with the dignity. It was asked that please let her die with the dignity. When this was asked, the Supreme Court discussed about it, and finally the statement was finally the judgment reached to the point that in our country the passive euthanasia is allowed. So what is this passive euthanasia? That if a patient is in this state, in a vegetative state, then you are not going to inject anything into her body, you are not going to kill her by some external help. But what you are going to do, if she is on the ventilator, if a patient is on the ventilator or on the machine, on this is living because of the machinery, we can just switch off the machinery. Then only if the ventilator is switched off, she won't be able to breathe, then she will die. Now the scene of the Aruna Schoenberg, the story is different. The nurses came in, they revolted against, they fought this case against Pinky. Then the statement was reached that the best friend will decide first, who will decide about this, this passive euthanasia, who will sign for it. It was first family will sign. Then if family is not there, then the next best friend. Who was the next best friend? It was finally decided that the nurses in the hospital, they were the next best friend, and they did not agree to her being subjected to passive euthanasia. So the case is different. Now our point, which I want to highlight here, that in our country Euthanasia is of two types. One is passive euthanasia, which means that your external support would be switched off, and the another is active euthanasia. What is active in euthanasia? In the active euthanasia, if a person is fighting from the terminal illness, he is suffering from a disease in which he is supposed to die after some time, but the pain he is able to eat, but he is able to eat properly, he is able to walk, he is able to talk, he is able to do his things, and but the condition is that he is suffering from huge pain and he would want to die. He is able to breathe himself, he would want to die. So how he can we inject some poison into him? No, we cannot do that, because it would come under active euthanasia, and active euthanasia is not totally allowed in our country. So this is active euthanasia, that in which we inject or we kill a patient by the support of by the external support. Either we will inject something into his body, or we will kill him in a way by the external support. What about passive euthanasia? Passive euthanasia is that in which we switch off the machinery, we switch off the life support for that person who is in the vegetative state, who is brain dead. So this is the actual difference between the two. And with respect to our laws, passive euthanasia is very much allowed, and it is protected under Article 21 of Indian Constitution, and it is a kind of a fundamental right. But here also you can have a life will, that if I am in such a situation, it should be done to me. It is a fundamental right to have a will. I should be subjected to passive euthanasia. If a person writes and there is a witness, somebody is witness to that, then only it can be accepted. So this is the whole story about euthanasia. Now, what is this assisted killing? In it, the patient decides in what way he should be killed. It is totally not allowed, because it resembles the active euthanasia, but it is totally different and it is not allowed in our country. But here in the USA, it has been stated that the bill has been passed with respect to it, and it has made allowed. It will be allowed in the UK very soon. So the UK lawmakers, they had approved a bill to allow terminally ill people to enter their to end their lives in the way they would want to end it, the assisted killing. They will tell somebody to fire at them, or to inject some poison into them. So that would be different. Where they would want to die, that would be different. So this is the full story about it. This was a small article, but there is a story with respect to India which I wanted that you should know about it. What is passive euthanasia? What is active euthanasia? Where does India stand with respect to it? And what is this life will? How it will help, and who is the best friend? It will be decided by the courts. So this is about it. Now, with respect to this, let us have a look at the question which can be asked from this related topic in your exam. Here the question says, consider the following statements regarding euthanasia in India. First statement, active euthanasia is legally permissible under certain circumstances provided there is a living will in place. No, not at all. First, it is illogical. If you are going for the active euthanasia, and we discussed it in the active euthanasia, the person is able to breathe himself. The person, he is conscious, very much conscious. And why do we need his will? So definitely, there is no need of a writing will. So, and we know that active euthanasia in any case is illegal. If it is a passive euthanasia, a person has already wrote the will that his life should be terminated, then the story would be different. So first statement is totally incorrect. Second, passive euthanasia is completely illegal in India regardless of the patient's condition or consent. This is totally incorrect, because it is legal, but the patient's condition or consent would be considered. And also, if he has no family, if his consent is not there, suppose there is a person who met an accident and he went into a permanent vegetative state, he had no idea that he would go through this process, and the doctors say that he will never recover. Now, who will decide on his behalf? His family will decide. If his family is not there, then who will decide? It is his next best friend who will decide on his behalf. So the second statement is also incorrect. Third statement, the Supreme Court of India has played a significant role in shaping the legal framework surrounding euthanasia in the country. 100% correct. So with respect to this question, the correct statement is option 3 only. So with this, I hope you had understood the whole idea behind this topic and this article itself. Now let's move to the another article and have a look at it, what it is about. Well, the flight, the article is basically talking about the accident, helicopter accidents recently in Uttarakhand. And why are these more, why these helicopter accidents are more in this season? Basically, what, when the season starts for these accidents, it is between April to October. So what is the story behind it? Why are these accidents there? Because there is a Char Dham Yatra which the devotees want to visit in this particular time. In Char Dham Yatra, devotees want to visit these different places for the worship. For example, in Char Dham Yatra, they would first start with Yamunotri Darshan, then they will go for the Gangotri, then they will go for the Kedarnath, and then they will go for the Badrinath. These places are visited under the Chardhan Yatra, and if we look at the terrain of Uttarakhand and these places there, it is it is very hard for the people to go by the road, and it will take lots of time. Even though it is hard, but it is not impossible, but still it takes lots of time for them to complete this yatra. So what Uttarakhand government did, they decided that they will introduce the choppers or helicopters who will assist these people in this yatra, who will assist these people in this yatra. So with respect to this, these chauffeurs, about this one thing important we need to know about these chauffeurs. They are controlled by what? They are regulated by the Uttarakhand Civil Aviation Development Authority. They are regulated by Uttarakhand Civil Aviation Development Authority, and this Uttarakhand Civil Aviation Development Authority, it is under the control of the Director General of Civil Aviation. So there is definitely the control of the government, this agency, Uttarakhand Civil Aviation Development Authority, over these chauffeurs. And this Uttarakhand Civil Authority Development Authority, Civil Aviation Development Authority, it decides over what, first, what would be the fare of the passengers. It decides over the fare of the passengers. It decides over what would be the fare of the passengers. It regulates many conditions, conditions for the helicopters. They are regulated, and various, it regulates the conditions for how many hours they can fly. So in a way, it regulates these choppers. But one thing about it is that who are the owners of the choppers? Now we have to understand who are the owners of these choppers. These are the private companies. So these private companies, if we will see their model, their model is basically based on what? Their model is basically based on the profit earning. They believe in profit, profit earning. They would prefer, they believe in profit earning, because they have to, because when they are going to use these shoppers, they would need to use helipads for the landing. So for these helipads, they would have to pay the government. They would have to pay the Uttarakhand Civil Aviation Development Authority for using these helipads, and also they would have to pay the taxes with respect to their profit. They will also, and the fare for the passengers, it has been maintained by the Uttarakhand Uttarakhand Civil Aviation Development Authority. So definitely they will try to go through different, they will try to use different ways to earn much more profit. So what they are doing now, what these civil aviation companies, what these chopper companies are doing, they are going for money rounds. They try to complete money rounds in this. They try to complete money trips in a day, so that they will earn more profit. And also with respect to the passengers, they in a way overload these choppers. So because of these, the involvement of the government, the extra regulation from the government, the extra regulation from the Uttarakhand Civil Aviation Development Authority, and the profit centric approach of these choppers, they turn into these results, these crashes in this region. And also if we look at the terrain in this region, It is also one of the reason that there are such accidents, because there are if there is a need for an emergency landing, it won't be that easy there. Emergency landing is not that much easily available for the chauffeurs. So this is also one of the criteria for that. And also the weather conditions, they often change, and to have a proper knowledge of these weather conditions, it is also one of the drawback to the one of the reason for these accidents. So in this article, this is all what is mentioned. First, what is the Uttarakhand Civil Aviation Development Authority? It is controlled by the Director General of Civil Aviation. It controls these chauffeurs, these private companies. These private companies help in giving these darshan to the people. But when they are controlled, when they are regulated so hard that they have to pay for the helipads, they have to pay, they have to maintain the minimum amount of the fare for the passengers, then they will try to go through different routes. They will try to increase the trips. They will put extra burden on the pilots, and also the terrain in this region. It will eventually end up into these accidents. This is what was highlighted in this article. So here we need to know about the Chardhan Yatra and the Director General of Civil Aviation, and also the Uttarakhand Civil Aviation Development Authority, because these things are in news right now. So with respect to this, let's have a look at the question. Which kind of question can be asked here? The question says, consider the following statements regarding the Chardhan Yatra in India. First, the original Chardham circuits as defined by the Adi Shankar Acharya comprises Badrinath, Puri, Dwarka and Rameshwaram. Correct. The Chota Chardham pilgrimage is located entirely within the state of Uttarakhand. That is also correct. Pilgrims typically complete the Chota Chardham in a clockwise direction. Till now it is correct. Starting from Kedarnath. No, it does not start from Kedarnath but from Yamunotri. So this statement is incorrect. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 1 and statement 2 only, and from the code given below, the correct code would be option B. With this, I hope you had understood this article as well. Now let's move to the third article. Let's have a look at it. Well, it is about the IAEA. It warns of nuclear disaster if Israel attacks Iran's Bushehr plant. From the last Friday, from last 1 week, we had seen how Israel started attacking Iran, as they believe that Iran has the nuclear weapons which could be, or they are developing the nuclear weapons which could be very much disastrous for the region or for the world. So they attacked on Iranian bases, they attacked on the Iranian army facilities, and they killed many high officials of Iran in it, as well as many nuclear scientists of Iran. But one thing they did not expected. What was that thing? The technology Iran has developed, the missile technology they had developed. And when they started getting the retaliation from the Iran, it was very much something which they had never expected. So in a way it started, this is very much in continuous. Now the Israel, they are begging USA to please enter into this war, so that the tensions will ease up, so that we can end this war quickly and we can destroy their nuclear plants. And one of the major nuclear plant, which is Bushehr plant, which is for the civil purposes, it is being under the target for which this is what they are trying to target. They are, and the place where this Bushehr plant is, it is something very hard to target, because for that they need the bunker busters, and this technology is available with whom? It is available with the USA. So they are right now begging USA to come into this war and save their reputation. So this is a different condition right now. But here the IAEA, it has warned the international communities, if this bunker buster, if this Bushehr plant, it would be attacked, the repercussions of this would be quite larger. It may put under threat the whole security of this region. Many countries, neighboring countries may get polluted. It is in the southern part of the Iran. Many neighboring countries may get polluted, and it will have a wider impact. Similarly, with respect to this, Russia, they had also issued warning with respect to it. It should not be targeted. It will have a wider impact. China has also issued warning about it. So because of these conditions, what had developed, the IAEA reaction, the Chinese reaction, the Russian reaction, and many Middle Eastern countries are warning the world that it should not be done. This attack should be very much, they should go for the ceasefire because it is not good for the stability of the world. So with respect to this, USA, in a way, they are considering now whether to go for the war, and the USA president has taken 15 days time to think over it. And also in the same time, there would be the discussions going between the diplomats of Europe and Iran about it. We will see what will happen. So here, what do we need to know about IAEA, what it is India part of it, that we need to know. And also we need to know about non-proliferation treaty, which Iran has signed it. India has never signed it. Pakistan has never signed it. North Korea has signed it, but it got away from it. Iran had signed it, and there were recently discussions that Iran is thinking to come out of it. So let us see. Let's see what will happen. But here, let's try to know more about IAEA. Let's have a look at it. Let's see what type of question can be asked from this article. Here the question says, consider the following statements regarding the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA. First statement, International Atomic Energy Agency is an autonomous international organization established under the umbrella of the United Nations. That is true. Nothing wrong with the statement. Second, one of the primary functions of the IAEA is to promote the peaceful use of the nuclear energy. Correct. Third, India is founding member of the IAEA. 100% is true. India is one of the founding member of the IAEA. One is the country signs the non-proliferation treaty. They give their by signing this treaty, they give the authority to the world to check on their nuclear reactors, whether they are used for the civil purposes, or they are there is some hidden challenge to it. So they give this authority to it, and it is the IAEA which is going to inspect those nuclear weapons. They will see nuclear reactors, they will see if there is leakage, what is the status of the enrichment of the uranium. They will look after it. So with respect to this international agency, it was involved in Iran also, and Iran has accused the chief of IAEA. So in a way that he has, the statement he gave with respect to Iranian uranium, that was fabricated, that was influenced by Israel. So this is the allegation against the IAEA chief. And IAEA has also established that even though there are signs that there is enrichment of uranium, but still that is too far to be true, that to achieve this status, it will take some time for Iran. Right now there is no threat from the Iran. It has established that, but still Israel has attacked Iran, and they are getting the retaliation now, and they are getting what they are they are being forced to beg USA to enter into the war. So this much you need to know about this right now, about IAEA, what is International Atomic Energy Agency, what is the status of India with respect to it. Is India part of it? This much is important for us. So with this, let's move to the another article and have a look what is there. Well, recently we saw a video of our PM Narendra Modi, where he was in Odisha, and he said that Donald Trump, when he was in the G7 summit, when he visited the G7 summit in Canada, and when he reached Canada, within some time, the Donald Trump, he flew back to USA, Washington, and it was believed that he is going to decide over the Iran issue. So in the meantime, in Canada, there was a G7 summit. In the USA, something different was happening, that the Pakistani Field Marshal Asim Munir was there. So in the meantime, when the Trump reached Washington, he invited Asim Munir for the dinner, for the lunch, and they had the meeting for more than 2 hours there. So after this, there was a phone call between Narendra Modi and Donald Trump, in which it is believed that PM Modi, he said that there was no involvement of USA in the ceasefire between India and Pakistan. It was decided mutually by India and Pakistan, and also it was mentioned in this phone call that if there is any tension between India and Pakistan, maybe it is with respect to Kashmir or terrorism. It is these two countries which are going to decide on it. We will not allow other third party to enter our conflict. So it was decided there. But Donald Trump, being Donald Trump, even after this phone call, he has told 15th time that he was the person who threatened both India and Pakistan over the trade, that they should stop this war, otherwise they should go for the ceasefire, otherwise their trade, they are not going to trade with India. So this is something different issue. But here, what else happened, that the Donald Trump, he invited Mr. Narendra Modi for the lunch, but Narendra Modi respectfully denied the lunch because he wanted to visit Odisha. So this is the whole story behind it. This is the developing relation between India and USA. We saw in our yesterday's class how USA has tried to rehyphenate India and Pakistan again, and we had tried from the decades to dehyphenate India and Pakistan. Now let us have a look at it. Let us see how it will develop. Right now USA is having a honeymoon with Pakistan. Let's see till how much long it will be there. What would be the how will Pakistan react? We will see. We know that how Pakistan reacts, how Pakistan, in a way does something silly that it will ruin their relationship. And it was advised by a great analyst that India should not indulge in this discussion that much, because they have their relationship. Let them have that, and we should focus on our diplomatic relationship. We should focus in a different way. We should not be that much indulged in this relationship between USA and Pakistan. So this is the developing story. Much more would come in the coming days, and we will see what will happen. So with this, let us have a look at another article. Here it is about the Pakistan, Bangladesh and China conduct the trilateral foreign official level discussion. About Pakistan in the West, always enemy of India. Bangladesh in the East, no, Pakistan in the East, sorry, and Bangladesh in the West. I'm getting confused here. Pakistan in the East and Bangladesh in the Pakistan in the West and Bangladesh in the East. Pakistan always had been the enemy of India. Bangladesh, it was a close ally of India. We always had the friendly relationship. But after the Sheikh Hasina government, how it toppled, and the China here, the relationship is not that good, and the nexus of India, Bangladesh, Pakistan and China is not good for India. So we need to revisit our foreign policy here. We cannot start losing these nations, our foreign neighbors. We had already lost Maldives. We are losing Bangladesh now, and also the condition in Sri Lanka, Nepal, it is going worse. Nepal is also siding with China. So we need to revisit our policy with respect to here. So this thing is not good for, this is also the developing story, and this is not good for India. Now the another article here. Steel sector in a fix as government gives a less than a day to meet QCO. So what is this QCO? This is something we need to know about the steel sector, because there has been a development over it. This is a under this QCO, what happened. The government of India, they announced the quality control order. So what is this? What is the quality of the material? We have the steel industry. What is the quality of the material? We have the steel industry in our country. What kind of steel is there? What is the quality of the steel? To know the quality, to have a better quality of the steel, we should have the better imports. If we want better, if we want the better outcome, there should be better input. and where from we are getting that there should be the quality input. So with respect this, the government of India recently introduced the quality control order. So what in nutshell it is that if we are importing from some country, we are importing steel from the foreign country or some outside country. So what we will do, we are going for this, that this company, from where we are getting this, they will have to match a certain kind of standards before importing. So they will have to match these certain kind of standards before importing in India. And also we had gone a little extra here, that suppose there is a company A from where we were importing to check the quality of our steel. Here is the outcome of the steel, output of the steel. To have the better output of the steel, we need better input, and for this input we are importing from company A. And this company A, it is also getting resources, it is also getting these materials from company C. Suppose it is getting these resources for the company C. Now what the government of India under the quality control order has done, that we will also check this material coming from company C whether they had followed the standards, where they had followed the standards. So in this way we are putting extra pressure on these companies. There is huge, the compliance will increase there, because there is huge checks they will go on, and because of this the cost of the steel, the cost of the input will increase, but at the same time the cost of the output will also increase, and finally what will happen, the cost of the product will also increase. So in this way, because of this quality control order which the government of India has brought in, where they are going to check the standards of the steel which we are importing, and we will also check the standards of the steel where from those companies are getting the raw material. It is finally going to affect the steel industry in India, and it will increase the cost of the steel industry in India. So this is in nutshell about this article. Here what do you need to know? You need to know about the quality control order which the government of India has recently issued. So with this we had completed our today's discussion. I hope you would have liked the video, I hope you would share it with your friends, and I definitely hope you would subscribe the channel. Thank you for staying with us, thank you very much, and have a nice day. And one more thing I would like to mention here, please do visit our channel daily. Every day we upload 2 videos here. First in the morning session, second in the evening session. In the morning session we discuss the news analysis, in the evening session we discuss your static syllabus, and we discuss these videos in a very detailed manner. We discuss every subject in a very detailed manner, and from last 13 days we are discussing Indian polity, and yet we had only discussed up till DPSPs. So today's discussion in the static syllabus would revolve around the fundamental duties and basic structure. So please do visit it, it would be very much helpful for you, and also do subscribe the channel. Thank you for staying with us, thank you very much, and have a nice day.